Franco is the word you're always a bit hesitant to say when you're in Spain. For decades after his death, much of this country simply tried to forget him. It felt rude to mention his name. To many, this, his giant tomb outside Madrid, was an embarrassment, a relic. I've been to Spain many times over the years. I lived here as a student. But this was my first visit to Franco's mausoleum. Franco's grave is at the end of a very, very long tunnel, dark tunnel, lined with tapestries. There are mosaics on the ceiling. And the grave itself is actually quite simple. It just says his name, and there are about 4 or 5 bouquets on it. But what really strikes you is this structure itself, half mausoleum, half nuclear bunker. So why, after all this time, get rid of Franco's grave, as the socialist government proposes? I met the man in charge of the Franco Exhumation project. Buenas tardes. Soy James Reynolds, BBC.
Creemos que sacar a Franco del Valle de los Caídos fortalece la democracia española. En este momento de no pasar página, sino leerla bien y hacer posible la reparación de aquellos que no han sido reparados.
Around 500,000 people died during the civil war of the 1930s, which was won by Franco. He led Spain until his death in 1975. I met the lawyer who represents Franco's 7 grandchildren. How did the family react?
They are really worried about this situation. They have very good memories of their grandfather. They love them, and they don't want their grandfather to be used for political reasons.
It's something to reflect on. The man who won the war ended up with the biggest grave. By contrast, many of his opponents are still lost under the ground. Many Civil War victims were dumped in unmarked mass graves. Here at one pit in southern Spain, archaeologists have begun work to identify them.
Principalmente para devolverles la dignidad a estas personas. Y también por los familiares que quedan vivos, que quieren darle un enterramiento digno. Y también para que las generaciones futuras sepan lo que ha ocurrido, porque si no conocemos nuestro pasado, raramente entenderemos nuestro futuro y podemos cometer los mismos errores.
I met the families waiting for information.
Busco a mi abuelo, Domingo José Bey. Él lo mataron antes de cumplir los 40 años, iba a cumplir 40 años, porque pertenecía a la CNT, que mi madre murió hace 4 años y fue siempre su sueño, el de poder sacar a su padre de la fosa.
How long can a family carry on searching? In some ways, Spain's civil war will only truly end once the last searchers, the last descendants, stop looking. Digging provokes strong emotions. In Madrid, Franco's supporters have demonstrated with renewed anger. They gave the fascist salute in the middle of a Western European capital.
Dejar las cosas como están. Lleva allí muchos años y no creo que ofenda a nadie. Y a los muertos, tanto de un lado como de otro, deberían de dejarles en paz.
La izquierda no admite que perdieron la guerra del 36 y quieren reavivar las heridas y enfrentarnos españoles contra españoles.
At the start of December, a far-right party, Vox, won seats in a local election, the first time that's happened since Franco. The past, buried for so long in Spain, has begun to feel very present. So Franco's still playing a part in politics. It's more than 40 years after he died.
It's kind of, if you're a bit superstitious, you kind of, disgusted about it. But somehow it's like Franco is back. You're trying to take him away, and he's like, I'm here.
Spain, then, is largely trapped. Forgetting Franco didn't work. Reburying him only seems to make him more relevant than ever. He and his victims, all underground, define a country they're no longer alive to see.